Hey guys, in this episode, Jackie's going to talk about how she became a role model in the lifestyle. You cannot miss this one. It's amazing. Hey guys, it's John and Jackie of OpenLove101.com. Welcome to our show. Today we're going to discuss how to be a role model for others in the lifestyle. And Jackie really likes this topic, as you can see. Before we begin though, please check out OpenLove101.com, sign up to our email list, and you'll be notified of this video and anything else that we do in the Open Love 101 world.
And if you want to top that, you can also join our Open Love 101 Plus membership, and you'll get to have coffee with John and Jackie, and you can join my book club, and sometimes you can get live behind the scenes video recording.
All right, Jackie, since you love this topic so much, I'm going to let you start.
So I do love this topic. And I think, because it was something that you introduced me to, right? This whole world of non-monogamy. And I found it so intriguing, and I was so captivated by it. And it was so outside the box from anything that I ever knew growing up. And being given permission to kind of explore my sexuality in a way that was more loving instead of something more stigmatized or critical, especially as a woman, I jumped into this with both feet, and I read books and I read scientific articles, and I really tried to learn all that I could about this relationship model that I knew very little about. And what little I did know, again, was not positive, because I was learning it from a society that wasn't in agreement of that. So to learn all of this and to be where I am today, almost a dozen years later, and understand the nuances of the relationship and what a team building that it creates in the relationship.
Right.
Being a role model or being an advocate for this relationship model really kind of became center stage for me, which is something I, in a gabillion years, would never have thought I would be doing, So, and it's still really exciting for me, because there is nothing better than going to one of our clubs or going on vacation with other like-minded people, or even just being in an outing around just, a conglomeration of regular couples and, just kind of in society, and seeing the impact that it's had on their lives, or the curiosity that it sparks when they meet me. And the questions that they want to ask. It's like I become this safe space for questions that they don't feel like they can ask anybody else. And then just to see the couples in the clubs, or that have been in this relationship model for decades, or those that have been married for decades and now they're trying it, is really satisfying. And not so much because they're trying this relationship model, but because these people are so determined to make themselves and their relationship a top priority that they're willing to embark on all kinds of adventures together to see what they like. And I love that. There's something really gratifying about that. And it really speaks, to me, it speaks really highly of these couples. I think so often society wants to think the opposite.
Right.
How could you be married? How could you be with each other if you're doing this? All that stupid crap that is just not true. Yes, we're another slice of society, so you are going to have some people that are motivated by things that are very selfish. But the people that I've come across where this is something that's important in their lives and in how they view themselves in the relationship, you can't help but be encouraged by what they've birthed into reality in their, for the relationship. I mean, it's just, they've really made it their own. And they've really taken what each person has said in their secret of secrets and said, how can we help this bloom? How can we, be there? And so I feel like you and I have done that, one, by being out and open.
Right.
And unafraid to be on screen or in front of the camera or in the articles, no matter how ridiculous and hilarious they are, that we put ourselves out there. And, to show people that this does work and it is great. And the people that are curious about it, you want them to get good advice. You want them to have a good example. And, not to toot my own horn, but I think we're a good example, because we show everybody the trials and the triumphs, and that you can work through it if the ultimate goal is each other in the relationship. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think that when we got together, I never in a million years dreamed that you would become a spokesperson or a role model for our lifestyle.
Right.
And it was a couple of years into it, and you had this urge to write about it, firstly, is where it came from, because you're an amazing writer.
Oh,
and you
thanks.
started putting your feelings and your experiences on paper. And that really, we decided to start this site, and that really resonated with everyone out there. You're writing, the responses that we got to it. And then doing this, and being on camera. I remember the first time you were on camera, I was so worried for you. You were so nervous. And then the camera came on, you were like, hey, and I mean, you're just like a natural. I think having, being comfortable in front of the camera and talking and being comfortable sharing your feelings, whether it's talking about it or writing it down, is really key. And not everyone out there has the ability to be able to be that person, and you do. And I love seeing it. If we're at the club and a new couple approaches us and they say something like, it's our first time here, we saw your YouTube channel and watching your videos, it gave us the courage to come here, but we have some questions. And then you listening to them, it's like a light goes on within you.
Yeah.
And you just want to be there for them, and you want to be, and you are excited for them in their journey. And that's what really gets me and touches me. I love seeing that when you're a part of that. And for myself personally, owning the clubs for as long as I have, I was always kind of behind the scenes. I didn't really want anyone to know that I was a club owner. I just like to sit back in the shadows and watch what was going on.
I remember.
And then this thing, Open Love 101, and now all of a sudden people know. And I was like, God, it was really a difficult transition for me initially. Because I don't like being out there the center of attention. But you've really shown me how it can be be very positive in helping others through this process. And that's where I was able to make that transition.
Yeah.
And, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, it's one of those things that, if you find something that you love, you want to share it.
Yeah.
If something really speaks to you or makes sense, you're like, oh my gosh, you're not going to believe what I just found out.
Yes.
I mean, I was telling people that, I was even telling people at work, and, you'd be like, you can't tell them. I'm like, why? Like, it's great. Why wouldn't I want to tell them?
No.
There was something kind of cool that in being naive,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't concerned about somebody saying, well, I don't agree with what you're doing. Because at that point I was like, well, I don't care because I've done it and I loved it. So why would I not want to talk about it?
And that in of itself makes for such a great role model, because I really believe when you take on something like this or anything in life, to be a spokesperson for it and to broadcast the benefits of whatever it is that we're doing.
Yeah.
It's really important. And you really show your love for our relationship model. I mean, there's nothing holding you back.
Right. Right.
And that's really important.
Yeah.
The other thing on this topic is that there are so many other role models out there in our clubs. We have a couple that comes to our Houston club every single day, pretty much. And when one of our hosts give them a tour of the facility, you know, if it's someone new and they're curious, they have questions, and we're not there, they'll direct them to this couple or maybe another couple that has years of experience, and they become that role model. And I love that too, that, you know, you can just sit down and there are no expectations of doing anything.
Right.
They're just sitting there wanting to learn and get that information from that couple that is gone through, you know, the same things that you and I have gone through.
Well, and two, you know, here's the other thing. So often when you're brand new to the club, you have, even though we try to tell them, don't have any kind of expectation, just, you know, they will have a stigmatized view of what the club is,
Yes.
right? You know, they walk in, you can just see them. They're like deer in the headlights. They're, you know, standing really close to each other, kind of looking around. And when you're able to introduce them to somebody that's coming to the club all the time, or they've been in the lifestyle a long time, and you realize like, oh my gosh, this is just like a regular couple. You know, like we think somehow they're going to be drastically different from us, and they're not. I mean, where they are different is in how they view each other and how supportive they are in each other, and you know, in certain areas of their life, and how encouraging they are of each other. And I mean, that is never a bad thing.
No.
I mean, those are the couples I want to introduce to people, because you start to realize that even though you're coming into a club like that, or you're talking about this kind of a relationship model, it's so much deeper. It goes so much deeper than the surface stuff. And you really get an opportunity to see a high functioning couple. And I mean, that's a great role model for anybody.
It is for sure.
So, ta-da.
Ta-da. Thanks for joining us today. Be sure and sign up to our email list at openlove101.com, and we'll update you about this video and any others that we have coming out. See you soon.
See ya.
Dang, I learned a lot from that video. Subscribe, and you can learn a lot more.